Happy Thursday morning, Keith Tebow from FRCmedia. And as has been the case for quite some weeks now, we're pleased to be joined by the mayor of the city of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan, for his weekly update. Mayor Coogan, how are you? Thank you.
Doing well, Keith. How about you guys?
I am doing well. The weather's nice. No complaints in terms of the weather anyway. Let me get into, let's start with some COVID news. Last week we had talked at this time, the city was placed on a high risk list. They were labeled red as part of the state's new color coding of infections in terms of the Commonwealth and COVID-19. You had mentioned that, the city's numbers didn't quite correspond to what the state had been reporting. And actually later that Thursday, the city was downgraded from red to yellow. The city is still in that yellow slot. Can you give us any more insight about what had changed? You had mentioned that there may have been some numbers from neighboring Rhode Island that may have been in.
Well,
Do you have any details?
What happens is sometimes people that aren't that work in Fall River, they aren't on a Fall River address, end up on our database. Sometimes there's a problem with the lab, so they downgraded us. The numbers came out again this morning, and we're still yellow. I just got off the phone with the Lieutenant Governor, and we may be trying to do something later today to look at the numbers differently again, but it just doesn't seem like it's right again. So we're going to keep moving and trying to help Fall River to be in its rightful place on that color spectrum.
It does appear that in terms of some of these reportings of numbers that a lot of the gateway communities appear to have issues with the virus and the spread, and I guess that just lends to the fact that there are more congested neighborhoods in cities like Fall River and Everett and Chelsea and some of the other areas that are still red in some cases. I guess it's really tough to get a handle on not only numbers, but in terms of making sure that, just informing the people that, we're in a specific situation that maybe not other communities are facing.
Right. Again, down here, obviously, Fall River is the biggest community in this neighborhood related to Somerset, Swansea, Westport. New Bedford's similar to us. But the numbers of obviously we've been on a decline for a while down here. And I just want it to be an accurate reflection of where we stand with COVID. I don't understand why we keep having trouble with these numbers, but we were on the phone yesterday with the COVID task force, and we're going to be on the phone again today. And we just want to take our rightful place on that line. And I don't see that happening. But hopefully later today, there's some more adjustments made and we end up where we belong.
As the weather continues to be nice, hot in some instances, but the weather's been really nice. We've had a pretty decent summer, save for that tropical storm that blew through a couple of weeks ago. Are people still adhering to the social distancing? Have you heard any complaints at all in terms of gatherings that should not be happening within the city?
It seems like we have a lot of people, excuse me, gathering on the basketball courts. But other than that, I haven't heard much for problems of weddings or things like that. So other than basketball, seems like we're doing pretty well.
And I know that the city's trying to organize, bless you, trying to organize a number of events, mainly around the census. And I want to get to the census in just a moment. But, is there a fear that, you plan these events and then, you may see a spike and things may need to happen? And I know the city's been nimble on its feet to keep aware of what may happening in terms of maybe needing to change some of these plans.
Yeah, obviously we canceled our basketball tournament. We were going to do that with the Fall River Police Department because it seemed like the crowd may get away from us a little bit there. So we didn't do that. We are going to do another drive-in movie coming up on the 28th at Durfee, Finding Dory. We invite everybody to join us on that night up at Durfee High School. And again, the census is grinding away, trying to get our numbers up. We actually had a long conversation the other day with the Secretary of the Treasury, Wilbur Ross, about Fall River's census numbers. And when we explained to him how we were attacking it, he seemed comfortable with our efforts. But obviously, we have to get our census numbers up. And we asked people to please fill out the forms and get them back as soon as they could.
I'm going to mute you for a second if you need to clear your throat, Mayor. I know it seems like you're having a little bit of an issue there. As we get into the next part, let me just continue on the census. You know, the people can still obviously complete the census online. I believe that's up until October. But I know there's been a lot of messaging around the census workers now going door to door to sort of fill in those gaps of people who have yet to register online their census information. And I know it's important for people to be aware that, you know, in the face of the pandemic, in terms of just people being unaware who's coming to their door, that these census workers are actually here to do something that's important, and, you know, making sure that they're identified correctly. People should not talk to some of these
Right.
census workers.
They'll have their credentials, and they're going to the houses that are on the list of the non-reporters, and that's going to start very shortly in Fall River. But it is also extremely important that you identify who comes to your door, and if it's an official census worker, they'll have the proper credentials, and they'll try to walk you through how to fill out the form so that Fall River gets the appropriate funding we need from the federal government. It seems like every year we're undercounted a little bit here in Fall River. Everybody is constantly telling me there's probably close to 100,000 people in the city, but we end up at 90. So again, we need the cooperation of everybody in the city of Fall River. If they're concerned about the census or they have an issue, call the mayor's office. We'll follow up and get someone out to see you with a pad, and you can do it right online in front of them, or we'll make sure we get you counted, but we do need your help.
All right, I want to move now to the city budget. The city council has the budget. They'll be going through department by departments, I believe, as early as next week, hopefully to approve a spending plan by the end of August to have it in effect for September 1st. But tonight, there is a joint meeting between the city council and the school committee, a meeting that, you know, would normally happen a lot earlier to get sort of a conversation going between school department personnel, the school committee, and the city council on the school's needs. What do you expect to hear tonight? We talked last week about the net school spending figure, but how important is to have those two bodies communicate?
It's very important. Obviously, it should have happened a lot earlier. We're not even going to have our vote on the school budget till Monday night. We called a special meeting for that. But it's good to give the citizens of Fall River an idea of where we stand in this truly extraordinary time with this pandemic budget. It's fluctuating all the time. Income versus expenses. It goes back and forth, and we're doing the best we can, and we're going to present something tonight. Hopefully we can answer some questions from the counselors, and hopefully the school committee can answer some questions from the counselors, and we'll put out what we have and go forward from there. But people have to understand that I had a conversation with John Mitchell from New Bedford the other day. He's a veteran mayor. I have tremendous amount of respect for him. And he told me, Paul, this is extremely trying right now, doing budgets in this climate. So I want the citizens of Fall River to know we're working very hard and we're going to do the best we can.
All right, Mayor Paul Coogan, short and sweet this week. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk again next week. Take care.
I thank you, Keith.
All right. I want to thank you for joining us today on FRC Media. I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great day.